All right, everyone. Good night and welcome to Mark and Macy. This is our show for a third consecutive week, and we basically just talk about whatever we want to talk about, and it generally runs through the sports world. So, hey, Macy, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So, I didn't think this was going to happen this soon. I knew that we were going to talk about the NBA at some point. But Macy was basically just playing producer and telling me exactly what we're going to talk about. And it's Steph Curry, Jahlil Okafor, and Koby Bryant. So I've got my marching orders. This is what we're doing tonight. So you're going to dominate this conversation. So I hope you know that already.
I hope I can dominate the conversation.
All right. So you know who we are. I'm Mark Rogers. I've got a YouTube channel, Mark Rogers TV. I've got a lot of other things going on, and that's Macy Golder. Not
Hello.
of Macy Golder TV, just Macy Golder. And she corrected me last week because it's not Macy G on her Twitter. It's Macy Golder.
Correct.
Even though it comes up Macy G for me. So look her up, follow Macy, and this is our little show that we do every week, and we've had fun. If nothing else, we've had fun for 2 weeks, I think, doing this. So we'll see what we come across. Last week it was like Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Tim Tebow. It was all over the place. So who knows what we're going to talk about? But it's going to start with Steph Curry, and he's playing out of his mind. Maybe he's the best player in the world now. Maybe LeBron James has relinquished his top spot, his throne to Steph Curry, and certainly his team is ridiculously good.
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors are doing pretty well. The spotlight seems to be on them whenever the NBA is mentioned, but Steph Curry obviously has a big part in that. And, I think it's really cool. The other night when they were playing the Charlotte Hornets, he interviewed his dad pregame, and they kind of mentioned, this is your night, and it was Del Curry night. And Steph kind of interviewed his dad in the sense that, hey, Dad, this is your night. This is not about me. And to see that respect level was really cool. You could tell he was a little nervous in front of the camera, but he's working on it. He's a basketball player. It's not his job right now. But the best part was at the end, his dad said, this is my night. Don't spoil it. And Steph put up 40 points that night. So maybe he spoiled his dad's night, but I think the relationship is really cool, and to see the respect that Steph Curry has it makes him just something better than an elite player.
And so I want somebody to chime in at some point and leave us a comment, because I think I have this right. Macy and I were talking about it before we came on, that there's an ESPN promo where it's a SportsCenter promo, and Steph Curry sitting there with another guy, and I apologize, it might be his brother, because that would only make sense. And then his dad walks in, and they kind of have to shuffle and give Dad the plush chair, even though Steph Curry's a superstar. He's still, Dad is kind of king of the house, and I thought it was a bit amusing. So Golden State, what would be your guess of when they're finally going to win or lose a game? We were talking about this at work the other night, and we were trying to weigh do the 76ers win a game first? But they did, so that's over. So we can't bet anything at this point on that. But when do you think Golden State finally loses a game?
Yeah, you know what? Before you mentioned the 76ers, I was actually going to say, I don't know when they play. I don't know the schedule off the top of my head, but maybe they lose to the Sixers. I don't know. Maybe it's some freak thing that happens. But honestly, I don't know who's going to stop them right now. It's their game. Maybe an injury happens to Steph Curry. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know who's going to stop them right now.
Okay, Macy, they play 82 games. Do you make predictions? Not really.
Well, they're always usually wrong, so no.
Okay. That's kind of my thing, making predictions. I don't say that they're right, but that's kind of my thing. I like to make predictions. So we really should start making football predictions, but maybe we'll.
You can always start somewhere, right?
Okay. 82 games in the NBA season. How many do the Warriors win?
I'm going to say 60 plus.
60 plus.
Yeah, I don't know an exact number off the top of my head.
Okay.
I really
don't think you're
know.
going out there too far with 60 plus. They will win 60 plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
know, but
you're
sometimes
right.
like,
You're bad
you
on
know, there's
prediction.
there's teams that are like so hot and then they go into these slumps.
No, you're right.
And
You're definitely right.
you know, I root for to see, you know, these teams go, you know, crazy and do really well, but sometimes things happen and all it takes is one injury, one sickness, one distraction off the court and nothing's promised.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say a
I thought
safe
I was
bet
setting
at
you up for
least
a crazy
plus 60.
prediction. I
No.
thought you were going to say like 79-3 or something like that. Okay. I was I was just expecting something a little bit different, but that's fine. Giants, Mets, Penn State, NBA. Anybody?
I can say that um, I mean, I
Like,
liked the Heat because I liked Dwayne Wade, but I would never call myself a diehard Heat fan because I'm not. When LeBron took his talents to South Beach, I kind of backed off the Heat wagon, but kind of was on it too because everyone else was. But I just kind of watch NBA to watch the NBA. I like to follow a lot of guys out of college. So I'd rather root for certain guys than, you know, root on a team.
you know what's funny is what you're saying right there. You were not alone because I noticed that with a lot of basketball fans, especially NBA fans. They have an NFL team, baseball team, college team, but when it comes to the NBA, it is so star driven that a lot of people just like superstar players or a particular player and they kind of move around from team to team and they're really not locked in, diehard, loyal, whatever fan.
Yeah, I mean, I only have one basketball jersey, and it is a Wade jersey. But you know, my favorite part of the NBA is definitely the All-Star Weekend. I think that is the most fun. Blake Griffin's always got something cool. I don't know. That to me is exciting. The NBA is exciting, yes, but the All-Star Weekend, by far the best.
All-Star Weekend, All-Star Weekend. Yeah, I watched a little All-Star Weekend last year for the first time in forever. I don't really get into the All-Star Weekend too much, but yeah, the guys are amazing. The slam dunks, though, it's almost impossible at this point for anybody to invent a slam dunk that's not already been tried. It's just difficult for these guys to push the limit when it comes to the slam dunks. They're amazing, but it's almost like, yeah, we've seen that.
I mean, considering the fact I can't even make a layup, yeah, I would definitely say they're pretty talented.
Or you're a soccer player.
Yes, I played soccer, not basketball. I did try basketball though. I tried every sport just because, you know, you have to try everything. I went to a basketball camp for a week and I hung up the basketball shoes that quickly.
Well,
I
how
wasn't
old
as
were
big a
you?
fan. How old was I? I don't know, probably fifth grade,
Okay.
sixth grade. I was really tall. I was 5'8" when I was in fifth grade. So, you know, basketball, you gotta play basketball, you're tall. Didn't quite work. Basketball in gym class, jammed my whole finger. Didn't like the whole idea of it.
Yeah, I was never a really good basketball player. I didn't play much basketball when I was a kid. It was all about football and baseball, and that's what I played in high school, football and baseball. And I just never really got out there to play much basketball. So you played soccer. You said you tried a lot of other sports, softball.
Um, I wouldn't play softball. My mom really pushed me to try and play softball, and I said, no, I'll only play baseball, which I never ended up playing, but I played it, you know, with my neighbors who are all boys and in the neighborhood enough to consider myself on a baseball team.
Yes, baseball is awesome to play in the summer in the neighborhood. It's awesome. If you can get enough kids together, that's always the problem. So you brought up the 76ers, and so we go from perfection to almost complete imperfection, although they did win the other night, and I wouldn't have known that until a couple hours ago. They beat somebody recently, so they've got the one win. And Jahlil Okafor has been in the news because he's kind of run amok, and there's much debate as to whether he's a bad guy or if you listen to Coach K, who coached Jahlil at Duke, great kid, did all the right things. Just he said some things about Jahlil Okafor that you never hear a coach say about a particular individual. Just sticking up for his character and saying, hey, he might have done these things, but this isn't who he is. And I think we've got to remember these kids are 19 years old and they're suddenly thrust into this situation, can pretty much have what they want, and they're on the road, they're all over the place, and people like to take advantage of some situations.
Yeah, so for Okafor, I mean, I don't want to say it's a tough situation, but like you said, he is 19 years old. So being 19 years old, you're still an NBA player, even though you're 19 years old. You represent that logo, you represent the Sixers. But again, you're 19 years old, and you're not actually even old enough to drink at a bar. So, he's still a kid in that category. But like you said, for Coach K to say those things, Coach K said he's one of the smartest, kindest, most loving, gentle kids you'll ever meet. This was just a stupid act. Let's move on. For Coach K to defend him so quickly after only being with him for a year, I think that says a lot about him. But again, it goes back to having self-control and being the person that you are and who you represent. And as a professional athlete, you represent the NBA, you represent the team, and most importantly, yourself. So it does, at the end of the day, no matter who's saying what, it falls back on you, and I don't think he handled it the right way. And now they're saying there's 2 fights, not even just 1, 2. And if you watch those videos, I mean, there was guys on the concrete with blood on their face. This was not just an argument or this or that. It was serious, and that's not acceptable anywhere.
I have not seen the video. I'm refraining from seeing the video because I don't think it right for me to watch the video until I actually watch maybe like 3 minutes of an NBA game first. Maybe I should do that before I actually watch NBA players fighting in the streets. So, no, I've not seen the video. So, blood on the streets.
Yeah, it was a little more serious than just verbal and maybe some pushing here and there, which is what it was at first. And when the first video came out, that's what they said. And then once you really saw the second video, it was a little more than that.
So what do you do with a kid like that you think is genuinely a good kid, but has made some bad decisions? Maybe he's in a situation that, and when I said he's in a bad situation, he's not in a bad situation, but he suddenly has money he may not necessarily have had before. He's going from city to city. He's hanging out with older guys that have been out on the road. Who knows what they've done? Just going to clubs, going to bars constantly. I'm guessing that he's just in an unfamiliar situation. I'm guessing. I'm kind of conjecturing. So what do you do to kind of bring a kid like that, understanding that he's 19 and not trying to hold him accountable like he's Tom Brady and leading a NFL team, but he's got to be a professional. Do you have any words of wisdom?
I think the biggest thing is it's a self problem for him, but I think someone needs to direct him in the right direction. Is he's coming from a team that's just used to winning and the power of winning. And when you're on campus on college like Duke, you're big time. You're that A-list celebrity. But when you go to a team that loses 18 straight games and you go from top of the world to lowest of the NBA, you have to find that way to cope with losing. And you have to find your way to figure out how you can, okay, let's take this and turn it around, or let's do something rather than lose our minds out in the middle of the streets of Boston and start throwing punches.
Yeah, I think he needs a role model, and maybe he has ones in his life, and maybe they're just not there immediately with him. And so whether that's, and I'm guessing, not that I know the 76ers roster, I'm sure that you could recite it, Macy, but I don't know the 76ers roster. Maybe I'm with a team that bad, and I heard today that they're the youngest team in the NBA. So I'm guessing there aren't a whole lot of role models for him on that team, that maybe there's a young assistant coach who can still relate to somebody who's 19. I don't know. But yeah, they have to find somebody that can kind of tag along him and not be Mr. Authoritarian, but can be somebody who's kind of like a big brother and still kind of cool and hip and can relate to him, but at the same time can guide him and just let him know what's smart and what's not the best place to be or the things to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you're an athlete like that, people want to get into your pockets. And this guy is going to file charges, he's going to file lawsuits, and he's going to get money from it. So that's only going to cause more problems for Okafor as such a young guy. And I think if you get yourself into that pattern, you're just going to continue maybe getting into some trouble. So, it's only a 2-game suspension. He had to sit out against the Knicks the other night. He'll sit out against the Nuggets this weekend. And, okay, so you move on. You learn from it. It could have been way worse. I think a 2-game suspension, it was way easy. And people are upset by that. Coach K was upset that it was a 2-game suspension. But Coach K even said himself, it's stupid things that get you in trouble, and you have to move on. And I think those are the best words that he could use. And move on from it. Don't fall back into that pattern.
And Macy, you actually hit on the point that I was going to make, but then I lost track of my point. But that's what I meant with bad situations. Yes, there are people out there that either want your money or just want to make a name for themselves or just want to see you look stupid or just antagonize you because they know that if you do something stupid, then they can kind of coerce you into a situation. So, yeah, so even more so than just run-of-the-mill guy or person going out to a club, it's totally different for these guys because they're targets to a lot of people.
Yeah, most definitely. It's unfortunate, but there's nasty people in the world, and these nasty people make these athletes kind of look like the bad person, when I'm not saying they're not bad people, good people, this or that, but like you said, they egg them on, they get in your face, and once someone's been in your face long enough, and a couple of guys have been in your face, and you've lost 18 games in a row, it just might be natural to throw a punch. I don't know.
And it might be for certain people. Yes, it might be for certain people, but he's going to have to get used to the losing and dealing with it a little bit better. Now, you mentioned hating to lose. For as much as this guy has a reputation to a certain extent of not being the best role model or character guy on the court, an assassin, only second to Michael Jordan in certain people's minds in regards to being just, again, an assassin on the floor, hating to lose, being motivated, and just driven to win. And that's Koby Bryant. And I think since he's announced his retirement, he's somehow just played a lot better basketball. Again, I haven't seen it because I've not been watching, but I've seen the comments and in the highlights. I think he scored 31 points last night or the night before. So Koby Bryant fading off into the sunset, but not necessarily fading fast. Maybe he's got something left to prove.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up my whole life watching Koby. I don't know basketball without Koby.
I have too, my whole life watching Koby Bryant since, I was a toddler.
Yeah, no, for me it was when I was a kid and first got braces, the first colors I picked out were purple and yellow, all because of Koby Bryant. And, I was a sports fan when I was little, and I like sports, but again, I didn't have a basketball team that I really followed. I guess I could say maybe I was a little bit of a Lakers fan for a bit. But I loved Koby Bryant. I thought he was a great guy. To hear he's retiring, am I surprised? No. Maybe he knows inside that he doesn't want to do it anymore. Maybe he's got something else lined up. Maybe, I don't know. What I think is really interesting is when he decided to announce his retirement, it was kind of just like, oh, hey, guys, I want to be in the news, so I'm going to announce my retirement, which a lot of athletes have done. But I can say that when he was in Philly this week, which is who the Sixers actually beat for their first and only win of the season, Philly claims Koby as theirs because he's from Lower Merion, and Koby doesn't quite claim Philly as his. But yet he posted himself wearing an Eagles shirt. He posted getting a cheesesteak while he was here. All that kind of Philadelphia stuff. So I thought that was really interesting, and that's kind of been the talk around here all week. So at the game, of course, when he was announced, he got standing ovation. People were screaming, Koby, Koby, nonstop. It gave you goosebumps. You could even watch it online. It will still give you goosebumps. And I thought that was really cool for them to honor a guy who's never even played there and to get that type of reaction. So that was really, really neat. And then they also did a video called Dear Koby, and it was kind of like a poem about how he was their kid, and they showed Lower Merion highlights, and that he took his career to, the highest level, and that they knew from day one that he was something special, and Philly owned something special, and now he gets to come back to those roots. I don't think Koby Bryant will come back here, but, just that they knew that he was the talent and this and that, and I guess they're always welcoming him back home. So that was really cool to see. Even as a sports fan, it definitely gives you chills. And then something else that I thought was really, really cool, someone took a video of Michael Jordan and Koby Bryant, and it was basically similar plays that they did, and they kind of put them together where it would be like Kobe turning and then Jordan. And it's really, really neat video. I did post it on my Twitter if you want to check that out. But I just think, every guy has their day, and Kobe's been in the league for 20 years, so that's quite some time and quite a resume to have. So maybe it's time for him. Am I upset? Yes. Am I mad? No. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, Kobe's had quite a few days, and he's been a great, great player. Maybe the greatest or the second greatest pure scorer in NBA history. And I'll stop right there because I in no way fashion myself as NBA analyst or historian, but I used to watch a lot of NBA at one point in my life, but not recently. But he's definitely in that. It's impossible for me to rank, but, Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Kareem, Michael, all those guys, Michael most notably being on top, LeBron's in that conversation now. He's definitely one of the 10 greatest players of all time. And championships, and played in the clutch, and even proved after Shaq left, when a lot of people thought, okay, Kobe needs Shaq, then he won without Shaq. And I do think it's cool what you mentioned what Philadelphia did, because they've got that connection. We're going to see all the farewell tour items, the rocking chairs, the cars, whatever he's going to get from these different franchises, but Philly's got that connection with him that nobody else has. And so that's kind of cool that they kind of started the farewell tour, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess they started. He said he doesn't want it, but I think when you put your retirement out there, like he did with the poem, you're kind of asking for it. Maybe I'm wrong, but when you put something out there like that, I think it's kind of like, hey, this is my last chance. Actually, tickets to go see the 76ers that night were, Sixers tickets, I think the cheapest tickets were $11 or something. The night Kobe was in town, the cheapest ticket you could buy right before it was like 6:30 was $84, which I didn't think was terrible, but the fact that it went from about $11 to $12 to $84, just because Kobe will be there, was a pretty big thing. So hats off to Kobe on an excellent career. He's been through some trouble himself, but he still kind of kept his name, and he kept his, he kept proving himself on the court, even a little bit off the court too, trying to do things. So I think he's a great guy, forever one of the best basketball players, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Macy, I'm sure you've noticed this. You were talking about the video you came across where it's Kobe, it's Michael making similar moves, and they kind of dwarf the video. If you notice, and you probably know this better than me, that if you watch old Michael in news conferences and talking and the way he talked and just his mannerisms, Kobe Bryant has kind of copied that in a lot of ways. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And, going back to Okafor, maybe that's something that he needs to look at. Maybe Kobe kind of saw what MJ did, and maybe you need to find, like you said, a role model. So maybe Okafor, tying in all of our conversations here, needs to look at Steph Curry and say, that's who I need to be like. Because I think Steph Curry is going to end up in that elite group with the rest of them that we've already mentioned so far. So maybe that's the best bet right now for Okafor.
Now that's some broadcasting skill right there, tying in the 3 storylines into one little neat package to conclude it. That's beautifully done, Macy. Nicely done. So this is what I can look forward to, is that we're looking at the college football playoffs and all the conference championship games this weekend. We are in the midst of the NFL playoff stretch drive, and we're already talking about the NBA. So is this what I have to look forward to all winter?
Of course. I mean, you got to keep it relevant. You got to keep it going. If everyone's talking about football, we're not like everyone else. So we got to change it up a bit and, just talk about whatever's hot.
Okay. All right. So it's hockey next week. Is that what you're telling me?
We could talk hockey if you want.
Really? Who's your hockey team?
I'm a Rangers fan.
Okay. I've got a lot less to talk about when it comes to hockey than even the NBA. I'm sorry. The Rangers, I know they won a cup in 94. I think that's the end of my Rangers knowledge. Mark Messier played there one time. So I'm like 20 years ago, and that's all I've got. Who's the big stud now?
Henrik Lundqvist.
Okay, I know who he is. I didn't know he played for the Rangers.
Yeah, good old Hank.
Yeah, I never watched. We don't watch hockey in Ohio. We don't really know what hockey is in Ohio. There are like high schools in Cleveland, since it's up on the lake and it's a bigger school system, I guess. They play hockey, high school hockey, but the rest of the state, no hockey. And they've got the Columbus Blue Jackets now, but I think people kind of separate I go watch hockey, but I don't know anything about it. And you're not going to find like your true blue, like hardcore hockey fans at a Columbus Blue Jackets game for the most part. So then in working at ESPN, back when I started, we had the NHL contract, so I got used to hockey and watching it. I appreciate it. It's amazing. The game sevens, like it's the cliche, but the game sevens in hockey are like no other. They're intense. They're tremendous TV. But yeah, I don't have a team. I don't have anything for you. Now that we don't have any more hockey at ESPN, I've kind of lost track of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can say I don't get MSG Network or any of the Ranger games here, so I do watch a lot of the Flyers just because it's hockey, but I can't say that I spend a lot of my time watching hockey. I enjoy it. I enjoy going to games, but I don't spend all of my time, especially this time of year. I mean, I know it's like hockey season, whatever, but there's some Christmas movies on and, other fun stuff happening, so I don't see a lot of hockey this time of year.
Oh, yeah, Christmas movies. That's what we were going to talk about, Christmas movies.
Yeah, so actually it's kind of funny because I'm not really much of a Christmas person. My favorite Christmas movie is The Grinch.
Wait a minute. You're not a Thanksgiving person. You're not a Christmas person. What are you, like an Arbor Day person?
Love Arbor Day. No, I don't know. I mean, I like Christmas, don't get me wrong. Again, it's the whole family thing, being together, the idea of giving and being kind and just feeling the warmth of being family and friends. I don't know. I just think Christmas is so overplayed and this and that. But my favorite Christmas movie is The Grinch. And I think it's The Grinch because sometimes I might be the Grinch. I'm not sure. But it was on the other night, and I was so excited. I know.
Have so many questions. Based on everything you just said. So you can kind of conjure up some warmth and some spirit of giving, just that little isolated couple days a year. That's nice to know, Macy.
Yeah, like literally, I like Christmas maybe the 24th and the morning of the 25th. And then it's just like, it's too overplayed, I think. People are putting up the lights and putting up this and all the decorations and this and that. And all these holiday events and that, there's just like too much with it for me. So I'm kind of just like, eh.
Well, I agree with that. It's what you make of it. So it has become over commercialized. There's no doubt about that. And I did tell some Walmart stories last week, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I'm not telling any more Walmart stories. Please don't. I know you were a little worried there for a second. I will say that it was crazy that it's like September and we're getting in Christmas merchandise and throwing it up on the shelves months in advance.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It kind of gets me confused because I'm like, wait, are we celebrating Christmas in July or is this for the real Christmas that's still 4 months away?
Yeah.
So like when you see Christmas stuff in September, even kind of October is, Halloween and maybe a little bit of Thanksgiving, but it's really like prime time college football season. This is not Christmas season. So to hear all the Christmas songs and this and that, by the time you get to Christmas, you're just like, I've been seeing this stuff since September, October. who really cares? You know, it takes away the novelty and the excitement of it.
I didn't think primetime college football season really conflicted with Christmas season. I didn't think that there was a big conflict there.
It does for me.
Oh,
My
okay.
mom is so pro Christmas. She wants to put up Christmas decorations anywhere and everywhere. So Saturdays are like, let's put up Christmas lights. Let's do decorations. And I'm like, no, Mom, college football's on. Sorry.
Well, I do think if people they don't just go overboard, but they extend the season way too long. So it's way too early. It's Thanksgiving meals being cleaned up and the Christmas uh, shows start coming out and all that. So I'm not into that. Like I don't put up a tree until like 2 weeks before Christmas. Then I take it down right after New Year's. And I'm not like crazy when it comes to Christmas, but it's what you make out of it. So if you focus on the right things, then yeah, just doing stuff together and being with your friends and family and all that, then that's great. So
Yeah, that's the attitude I try to have towards it now. Being away at school, definitely, like, it was weird, I guess, because you're away from your family. So when you came home, you were home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that was really the time that you could, you know, spend time with them and you got to see them. And I think that was a little bit of a changer for me too. But like you said, it is what you make of it. So I just ignore all of the Christmas decorations that go up so early and all this stuff and try to focus it on that week of Christmas, and then I'm happy.
okay, I'm going to postpone the conversation unless you want to go off on the Grinch. I'm going to postpone the conversation about Christmas movies just because they're not like fresh in my memory, but I know Santa Claus is Coming to Town is definitely my favorite all-time Christmas show with the little claymation guys. That's
Oh
the
yeah, see,
best.
I don't like that.
Oh, that's classic.
I just watched Charlie Brown Christmas for the first time the other night, and I couldn't even watch the whole
It's boring.
thing.
It's boring.
Yeah, it was not good. I didn't even know who these people were, and my parents enjoyed it, but to me,
I
eh.
never got into Charlie Brown. I just always thought Charlie Brown was kind of boring. It's a little slow.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I never got into it. And
Santa
this year,
Claus is Coming to
this year
Town.
at Macy's, for me, Macy's always does, they have like a character for the year, and this year it's the Peanuts. So
Okay.
everything, and of course every year for Christmas, my mom has to buy me everything in Macy's with my name on it because that's the only place I can find something with my name on it. So I will be getting a lot of Peanuts stuff this year with my name on it.
Well, don't you make a list of what you want so you don't get things that you don't want?
Oh, I still get those no matter what because
Okay.
it's got the year on it. So I've got things from the first year I was born up until,
Wow.
last year.
Okay. Yeah, your parents take this to the limit.
Yeah. Yep. We
You
always
will
say Santa threw up in our house. There's that much Christmas stuff.
you will understand that someday. You will understand trying to remember all these things for your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm at the point right now, I'm like, can't we just go on vacation to like a warm beach or something?
Yeah.
Call it Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Yes, my favorite time to go on vacation is in the winter. People go on vacation in the summer and they live in the north. I don't really get that. It's nice to go on vacation anytime, but like January, February is my time to get out of here.
Yeah, it's prime time. My parents just actually got back from a vacation. They went on a cruise, and it was only like in the 70s there, and it was 65 the whole week here. So I'm like, well, that's cool. You guys, got to have a good time, but the weather wasn't much different.
Yeah, that's a lot of fuss for 5 degrees.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. Yes, Christmas specials. I'm going to be locked in on a few. I don't like a ton of them, but there's like three that I love. And I came across one last year, the year before, that was very disturbing. It was made like in I don't know, 50 something. And I just happened to come across this Christmas special. And it was this Santa who was kind of like chasing the devil. And it was very odd.
Oh, the heat miser.
No, 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 no.
No?
It's not like a popular, well-known thing.
Oh.
This thing that I found on some like random channel that was very strange and disturbing. It was very weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you about that one.
Didn't expect you. All right, so this is Mark and Macy. We come your way every Thursday night at 6:30. So don't expect you to be watching us live, but then it posts to my YouTube channel. We've got it available for you each and every week. So we will talk about maybe whatever you'd like for us to talk about. If you send in a comment or would like us to address something, I did have somebody ask this week, Macy, where we went to school. So I let them know on your behalf. Penn State for Macy, Kent State for me. So I try not to look down on Macy because I went to school at a major football powerhouse and she didn't, but I try not to bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their thing. Some people go to school for college football. Not that I did. But yeah.
All right, good stuff, Macy. Do we have anything else to talk about this week? We good to go?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Basketball should be starting now, so we should be good.
I am going to force us to talk a little football next week. We have to talk a little football next week.
I think I can handle that.
Just a little bit. Unless there's something that goes on with Tim Tebow this week, then
hey, there was something beginning of this week, end of last week.
What happened to him?
His girlfriend broke up with him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so
maybe not uh-oh.
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what I read on the internet. You never know if anything is true that you read on the internet.
You should be upset about this. This is the
I'm
end of your relationship.
Heartbroken. Totally upset, but all good things come to an end.
Mostly, yeah. I think that cliche usually holds up. Do we know who Tim Tebow's girlfriend was?
She was just like some Miss, like USA Miss Beauty pageant girl. I'm not really sure. She had brown hair, so Tim Tebow's probably not going to go for the blonde, but good for him.
He's not going to go for the blonde. Why do you say that?
Because this girl was like Miss USA, or I don't know who she was, Miss something, and she got brown hair. Like, she's beautiful.
Okay.
He's not going to switch to blonde. He's always with brunettes.
Do women rate other women?
Oh, 110%.
Okay.
When we get dressed in the morning, we don't get dressed to impress guys.
That's what
we get dressed to, I don't want to say get the attention of other girls, but to prove to other girls, hey, this is who we are.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you're talking in a certain way about Miss whoever, but I'm talking to Miss, and I don't want to blow it because I will miss. Should we leave that on the table and we'll get back to that some other time?
We can get back to that some other time.
Okay. All right.
Keep guessing. They can send us their guesses of what they think I am.
Okay, let's do that. That could be fun. Macy was Miss blank.
Blank.
So you fill in the blank. And you kind of left yourself wide open there.
Yeah, so I did.
That's the fun in it. Macy Golder, Mark Rogers, we do our little show every Thursday night, so hopefully you enjoy it, and we will see you again next week. All right, Macy, take care. We'll talk soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.